All right, so here we are. I have removed the bottom plate, and as you can see, the pin is fixed in position. That allows it to lock down. And what I did is I bent out of this is a piece of 3/4 inch by 1/8 inch thick galvanized steel. It's something I had laying around, so I bit a Z-bend into it, and what I'm going to do is it's going to get fiberglass to the bottom of the seat pan. And what I'll do is I will mark on here where it's going to sit, and I will drill it out, then grind or file it to match the face of this Z-bend. So, and then it will be marked on here on the actual seat pan how far I want it to go in, which won't be very much, just enough to lock it in position. And then I'll grind the surface area and probably put 2 layers of fiberglass over the top of it, and so it'll give it some strength. So if you was to pull on it or something of that nature, any kind of misalignment pressure, just jockeying the seat back into position, that you don't break it back off. So it'll be fiberglass with at least 2 layers of 1.5 ounce mat. But I'll go ahead and get this thing marked, drilled, and I'll come back, show you what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. All right, I pre-drilled some holes after I had marked it, and I'm going to use the carbide burr, and I will go through and finish cleaning out all the holes, square it up, make sure that the plate, Z plate, fits in there real nice, and then we'll move on to fiberglass. But I wanted to show you what it looked like now that I have it all centered out and pre-drilled some holes. All right, the slot's been cut and it has been cleaned up with little jeweler files. If you'll notice that my Z-bend has a slight upward angle, that's simply because the angle that you're going to be putting the seat in, you don't want it directly square. So it's basically opposite of the seat angle. So, and what it is I have it where it slides in quite freely. There's a lot of play in it, but I have to compensate for, there's going to be rubber padding added to the seat pan itself. So that's going to bring the seat pan farther away from the actual subframe, so that I've compensated for that amount of padding to be in there. So now I'm going to, it's only going to insert into the slot maybe 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch. So it would be just a little bit past the this piece of plate right here. That's really all you need. It's just basically to keep the front end of the seat from being able to lift off, because you have the rear hold down pin, and then it has these angle plates, as you can see how they ride, molded in fiberglass plates. This is where the rubber strips will be placed on, and then that'll offset the seat just a little bit. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and prep. So I will be sanding around this so I get a good bonding surface, and then I'll apply some fiberglass, 2 layers, 1.5 ounce, and then close this area, and so it locks it in position. So when we come back, I'll have it glassed up, it'll be cured, and we will move forward. All right, I wanted to make a note real quick. I didn't note it, but I drilled a hole and I actually chamfered it, so when it gets glassed in, I've already pre-marked my tray to do this. This is simply, when I glass over it, this will get filled in, and it'll keep this piece from being able to pull out if it gets pulled on, tugged, or something of that nature. So it's not pretty, but I don't care. When this is all covered, this is getting painted, you will never even know it exists. So anyways, that's what I did. All right, the seat tray is been fiberglassed up, it's mounted in place. I kind of did a little more trimming to kind of match the actual seat cowl, so you can kind of see there's gap. I did a little sanding on there to increase the gap a little bit, but there is quite a bit of gap. You can see there's quite a bit of gap here. There's more, I like more in the front and the back, so that there's not as much rubbing on the painted surfaces when it's on there. So it's got a fair amount of gap. It's kind of hard to do, but I'll show you. A little push button comes right up, and there's the tab and fiberglass in place. So you can see it. It's good and strong. And as I said before, this will all get painted on the inside, so you're not going to even know anything. So and then we'll have room to apply the rubber strip, and that'll raise it off the right amount of distance. I did open up the hole a little bit more to give myself a little bit of tilting room, so as it's coming in at an angle that it would not bind. So that slot got opened up a little bit, and that was mainly going down, not up. The up, I got the right amount of clearance for the tape thickness that I plan to use on here, which will probably be 1/32 rubber tape, and then that'll go on there. But I'll kind of see it. Hopefully I can do this when it goes on and it's in position, and you can see there's a little bit of height. I'll be quiet so you can hear it click. It's that simple. Nice and clean, super soft, clicks, locks in place. It has some play in it still, and that's simply because this is probably not adjusted all the way, but for the most part, by the time you get the rubber strips in there, this thing will be perfect on there. So pretty much I'm done with the tray at this point. I have nothing further really you can do other than wait until we'll start putting the padding on here and then putting the upholstery. Before I do all that, I'll double check all my clearances and make sure I'm gonna have enough room for the material to fold underneath and be glued to the back side of these areas. I know front and back there's plenty of room. I just want to make sure that there's enough room on the back side of this. If there's not, then I'll have to do some more sanding to allow the clearance, but I think there's going to be enough at this point. So we're pretty much done with this section, and then I'm going to start on a new thread. Either I'm going to start on the electrical wiring, because I've had a motor unit on back order forever, and it finally had shipped, so I can start moving on, and I'll just do my basic wiring where everything's ran in position and not terminated at that point. So that's the end of this thread, and we'll when I go to put the upholstery on it, I'll just start something new. But this is how you make a motorcycle seat pan in basics.